So hello and welcome everybody to this liquidity session. So I hope everyone is doing good. And right now I will explain you like how I see the liquidity in market and where I see like I don't have to take those areas as my point of interest because there might be some sort of liquidity and I avoid those things most of the time. Okay. So what happens mostly is like whenever you see some sort of liquidity, there might be a obstacle most of the time. So let me just show you what I'm talking about. So whenever you see some kind of structure like this, all these structure, okay. So there is a formation of some sort of trend line kind of structure always. So that is where the liquidity thing happen. So you see same thing we had here, trend line kind of move and price just taken out this trend line, dropped below this trend line and mitigated this order block right here. So that is those things which you should have in mind before taking uh, any buy move, taking this liquidity in consideration for you. So let me just go through those things. So there are many kind of liquidity you see in market. First I will explain like what is internal liquidity. Internal liquidity and second thing is external liquidity. So let me just go through this first. Okay. So whenever you see price making higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, these kind of move in market. So there might be some lower time frame movement like this might happen. Okay. So all these kind of lows, these lows, all these lows will be the internal liquidity. Okay. These lows. So these lows have been taken out by this move and there is a formation of another internal liquidity right here, right here, right here. So these are the internal liquidity you see, and the last high, last low, and the last high will be your external liquidity. So this will be your external liquidity. The last high and the last low as well will be your external liquidity. And all these internal lows like this lower low, higher high, higher low, this higher low will be your internal liquidity. Okay. In bullish trend, all the higher lows will be the internal liquidity, and in bearish trend, all the lower high will be your external liquidity. So that is how you see the two concepts of liquidity. First will be external liquidity, and second will be the internal liquidity. So in a bullish market, whenever you see price forming something like a higher high, higher low, so all these lows will be your internal liquidity. Okay, and in bearish trend, all the lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. So all these lower highs will be your internal liquidity. Okay, so let me just go through the real chart. So yeah, what we have here, this last high and this last low will be called as external liquidity on 5-minute time frame. On this time frame, like if we are in 5-minute time frame on USD CAD, so this will be your external liquidity and this will be your external liquidity. Okay, so you see price just came here and mitigated this order block after giving some sort of minor BMS towards the downside. So we have a minor BMS towards the downside And after BMS, we have a BMS and return to origin around this order block and give a nice sell move towards the downside. Okay, so that is how you see. So after making this, after mitigating this order block, we have the range of liquidity. We have this as a liquidity, this as a liquidity, this as a liquidity, this one, okay, this one. So all these lows will be your internal liquidity. So all these lows will be your internal liquidity. And after this, uh, price making a bullish trend right now here. So all these lower, higher low, all these higher lows, all these higher lows will be your internal liquidity in a bullish trend. So this will be your internal liquidity because market always seeks for liquidity. So market will come here probably in here as well and take out this internal liquidity and might drop again. And market can come here, take out this internal liquidity and might go upside again. So that is how we see the last high will be the external liquidity and the last low will be the external liquidity as well. And in the bearish trend, the lower high you see will be called as internal liquidity. Okay, and in bullish trend, all the higher low will be called as the internal liquidity. So that is how we see the internal liquidity. So let me give me more information about it. So you see what we had here. We had this last low and this last high as a external liquidity. So this last low and this last high will be your external liquidity, and all these higher lows in a bullish trend, like market is in bullish trend right now from this low to this high. So all these lows will be your internal liquidity right here, and we are in bearish trend now from this high to this low. So all these structure will be your internal liquidity. Okay, same thing again. We have this internal liquidity has been taken out by this high and mitigated this zone, this supply zone and drop. So we have a break of external liquidity. So that's where we will see like, yes, we have a minor BMS here right now after breaking out the external liquidity, and there will be price might come again and fill this internal liquidity drop or might take out this external liquidity as well. So that is how we see the liquidity concept. So you can see this on higher time frame like 30 minute, 1 hour, 2 hour, or all the time frame. So like I just told you, like your 4 hour will tell you like what the 3 hour will do, and 3 hour will tell you like what the 2 hour will do, and same thing you can see on all time frame, like 50 minutes will tell you what your 10 and 5 minute will do. So the higher time frame is the real key in trading. And let me explain more thing about it, the liquidity. So whenever you see price making some sort of this consolidation move, so there might be another, let me clear this properly. So whenever price makes higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, and after making this price makes some kind of equal highs and drop. So this equal high can be considered as, there will be not a perfect equal high you must always see, but there might be some differences, like this high will be higher, this high will be higher as well, this can be lower and this can be lower as well. So nothing can be perfect in market. So this will look like some sort of equal highs as well. So this can be the liquidity zone. Okay, and you might look for sells in here, just above the liquidity zone, and price might come here, mitigate this sponsor candle and drop. So that is how we see the liquidity. And same thing again in a bearish trend. So there is another formation of equal lows here. So price might come again around this zone, takes out, sorry, takes out the equal lows as well and can go up by mitigating this sponsorship candle. So that is how you see the liquidity. It can be like this as well, like price forming higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Then there might be some sort of trend line kind of structure. So this might be some kind of trend line kind of structure. So we have a break in market structure here towards the downside. So this can also be a liquidity. Sorry, this trend line, like this was also liquidity, and this trend line can also be of liquidity. So all these we lower high, lower low, lower high, all these lower high are the internal liquidity. So price might come here, and you just need to mark that block which is responsible for this BMS towards the downside. Okay, and can look for sells, I think around that zone. So that is how you see liquidity. Same thing for bullish trend and the same thing for bearish trend as well. So that is how you see. And some more thing, like whenever you see price making a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, just around that higher low, you might see some sort of this kind of consolidation move, or this might be a some sort of weak high as well. So that will be called as a liquidity zone as well. So you just need to mark that zone as a liquidity formation, and you might take the sells from highs, or just around that breaker zone you might have some sort of point of interest just above this one. So this is your breaker area, and there might be some sort of liquidity here, resting here. So you might take that, select that as a liquidity formation as well, and you might look for sells from this block around breaker. So that is how you see the liquidity with the structure. So let me just send you some example. Like this is CAD JPY chart. Okay. So I seen this one and this one as a formation of equal highs as well. Okay, and I sold from this block once because this just became a liquidity for me, and I sorted from some sort of hidden base around here. So here, and there were some sort of weak formation of consolidation move. So you can take this as a liquidity zone as well. And there is another sort of weak lows, equal lows here. That will be liquidity as well. So that is how you see the liquidity formation. Okay, so that is how you see, and all those you see just became some sort of liquidity here as well. So this can be liquidity as well. And this week, this reaction week can also be seen as a liquidity. So this can also be a liquidity because the size of body of candle is very low and the size of wick is very high. So this can be liquidity as well. Same thing you see on all time frame, like higher time frame or lower time frame. So that is how you see. And this trend line formation can also be seen as a liquidity here. Okay, so that is how you understand the liquidity structure with the structure. And let me just go through some more chart. So whenever you see price mitigate some sort of order blocks one time, so that order block or that point of interest might be another liquidity zone, because if that mitigated, the zone one time, so that might not drop again from that same zone. So you see some sort of liquidity structure as well here. Prices came out and taken out these trend line structure and brought from this order block. All right, same thing you see here. There is another formation of internal liquidity. Just right here. Price taken out this internal liquidity and dropped from this order block right here. So you see that is how I see the structure and liquidity. Okay, so and all the you see there were after this low this become liquidity, this weak lows become liquidity because these all these lows failed to fill this fair value gap. Okay, so all these lows just become liquidity as well, and prices came in and mitigated some sort of might be a hidden base around here. Okay, or maybe propulsion block like something, and just gave a upside move again here. So this just became a liquidity as well. And this week, like this big rejection, I'm seeing this as a liquidity as well, because the size these big wicks can be seen as a liquidity, because most of the time what happen, price might come again and takes out this liquidity, this kind of big wick, and after taking out this big wick, price might do something like this and can go up. So after giving a BMS, we might take a buy here. Okay, so that is how we see, or it might go down more from here. So that is how you see the liquidity. So all these formation of equal lows you see equalize, I just explained you, can be seen as a liquidity. So same thing here. We have all these further internal liquidity as I just explained you, and this was equal lows as well. So all this internal liquidity has been taken out by this last week. Okay, and this will be also internal liquidity because this has already given some sort of good buy move from this order block, which is responsible for this BMS. So price already reacted one time, so it might come and take out this external liquidity here and might go up again. So that is how I see. And you see in this from here to here, we have no liquidity. These are just a bearish formation of candle. So price might not come very soon, but it might be, because we have this external liquidity, we have this external liquidity, but we have no liquidity around here. These are just liquidity void. So that's for this session. Hope you understand. And if you have any doubt, just ask the question in comment section. I will make sure like I will explain your doubts. So thanks for watching. Have a good day.